Welcome back, all and sundry. It's Jimmy and
Chatty here.
It's 9 a.m. on the dot. You guys are just in time.
To sit back,
Mhm.
relax, and listen to the
Yup.
podcast that adds life to the published articles of the Word magazine, The Word Speaks.
The word speaks.
The Word speaks. November, we will miss you so much.
Yup.
But, Kuya, naghahanda na ang diwa ko para ipagdiwang ang nalalapit na
Ooh.
Pasko.
Someone's excited here.
Yes, definitely. Kasi for me, Christmas is my Valentine's.
Ay, talaga ba?
Yes. Kasi, syempre, I believe Christmas is the season of giving back the love that God gave us.
Well, that's right. It's actually a reminder of God's greatest gift to mankind.
It
no?
is, which is salvation.
That's right.
So for December, the articles we will be sharing with you will be centered on the message of Christmas, which is none other than LOVE, love.
Ayan, absolutely. And December is not just about giving and receiving gifts, no? For us, as Christians, no, December is also the season of love. So prepare your hearts this Christmas because we'll be filling up your Saturdays with love and affection.
Wow.
So sweet, no?
That's right. So, before we introduce our last article for this month of empowerment, this month of November, let's have a recap of all the articles we have featured this month. Jimmy, please do the honors.
Oh, sure. So, for the month of November, we gave voices to the following articles. The first one was Social Media Christianity by Pastor Rizal Garcia. Second article was actually Of White Dresses by Minister Abigail Ferriol-Pascual. And the third featured article was He Lovingly Chose You by our very own evangelist Leticia Ferriol.
Yes, and today we'll be reading to you the article entitled Overcoming Spiritual Acrophobia from the column Christian Trends on the Word magazine issue 208, written by our church minister, Sister Abigail Ferriol-Pascual.
The word speaks.
The word speaks.
From the column Christian Trends, here is Overcoming Spiritual Acrophobia by Sister Abigail Ferriol-Pascual. People who have acrophobia, the extreme fear of heights, easily shun any activities that involve heights, no matter how structurally safe or reliable they may be. An acrophobic heavily relies on a sturdy, tangible surface, preferably the ground, which gives him a sense of security that he will not fall. Fear in general cripples a man's capacity to do beyond what is comfortable to him. Some Christians suffer from spiritual acrophobia. Apostle Paul talked about longing for higher and greater gifts in 1 Corinthians 12:31. Preceding said verse, Paul talked about the fact that not all believers can be apostles, teachers, miracle workers, nor called to have gifts of helping, administrating, or speaking various tongues. This does not mean, however, that believers cannot attain any or all of these. Paul encouraged the believers to eagerly desire and be passionate in attaining these gifts. Our spiritual calling as end-time Christians does not end with our own salvation. We are called and chosen by God to bear fruits. And you can read that in John chapter 16, verse 15 to 16. Remember the wicked servant whom the master entrusted with one bag of gold? Instead of investing, the slothful servant hid the treasure under the ground. Such an act warranted the master's wrath and the servant's banishment to the darkness. This is a strong forewarning against believers' spiritual complacency or the feeling of conceit or uncritical satisfaction with the status quo. Some of us who were called by God to a greater service, be it in the full-time ministry or a bigger responsibility in the church, are too hesitant to respond because of the fear of the requirement it entails. Taking our service to God a notch higher definitely means a bigger sacrifice. Forsaking our families, our loved ones, our stable jobs, our personal ambitions and aspirations in life, and ultimately, our own selves. Responding to God's high calling entails forgetting the things of the past, just as Apostle Paul did in Philippians 3:14. The past contains the things that we used to hold dear in life, may it be our failures or successes, so as not to be content with our past or present labor in the faith. One thing that holds a Christian back from attempting to do great heights in service to the Lord is when he sees what he is leaving behind. The fear of leaving our stable condition hinders us from taking the leap of faith. In spite of fully knowing God's promises to those who will obey his call, we refuse because we tend to rely more on what our senses can perceive as of the moment. That's why, in every attempt to go higher, we need to keep our sights as high as possible and not look down. The ground, which is our comfort zone, has all the things that could pull us back. So, we must set our eyes up high on the things unseen, for they are the things that last forever. You can read that in 2 Corinthians 4:18. As we go further and climb higher, we now use the eye of faith. After all, this is the essence of our life in Christ, to walk by faith. 2 Corinthians 5:7. In responding to the call of God, we have this firm persuasion and glorious expectation that despite our fears, inadequacies, and frailties, God will make his promises come true to us. With this in mind, it is safe to say that all of us who were called by God and placed in his end-time church is capable of attaining the best gift, the best ministry, and the best service we can desire for God. We just need to stop being content with what we currently have with the Lord and always eagerly thirst for greater works. The present is an opportune time to double, even triple, all our efforts and give God nothing less than our best.
So, may chika na naman ako sa'yo, kuya.
Chikadoro talaga itong kasama.
Yun.
Go ahead.
Before I joined the Word as a staff, I was very content in being in React, yung ating Marikina Multimedia team, as a script writer. Kasi it's the perfect mix of having an important part in the media ministry, but also staying in the shadows, being private, being behind the camera. But as the article says nga, we mustn't stay in the shadows forever. And it reminded me of Matthew 5 verse 14, in which the verse says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." So how can we become a beacon of hope, a light of this world, the salt of the earth, if we don't step into the limelight and face our fears?
Well, nice thoughts, Chaddy. Nice thoughts.
So, huwag kayong matakot, guys. Just reach out and look for the highest and better calling for you.
Nice encouragement, Chaddy. Thank you so much. Before we end this podcast, we'd like to thank everyone who's actually tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to our digital magazine.
If you guys have testimonies to share, feel free to share them on Voice in the Crowd. The link is in the description. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions, comment down below or message us privately at The Word Magazine.
And don't forget to subscribe to our personal YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Stay empowered,
stay blessed,
and stay tuned every Saturday at 9 a.m. here at
The Word Speaks.
The Word Speaks.
The Word.